Curry goat isn't everyday food. It's celebratory. You just don't make this on a random Tuesday. I grew up in deep rural Westmoreland, and when you see a pot of curry goat cooking, you knew something important was happening. It's like a signal. Family reunions, parties, funerals, even a big Sunday dinner with extended family, curry goat signals that people are coming together. So today we're making a proper pot of curry goat, just like the old school way. So let's get right into it. No, even though goat is big in Jamaica, a lot of what you find in supermarkets is actually imported, mostly from Australia. Imported goat meat is generally cheaper, bred to be less gamey, and a lot of Jamaicans will tell you that it's not even real goat. Local goat is very different though. It's way more gamey, especially meat from the rams with a very different flavor profile. That strong gamey flavor, that's exactly what you want. It pairs perfectly with the deep complexity of curry. I can get local goat from local supermarkets, but in my experience, the flavor is a bit more tame. This is just my guess, but I think they control for that type of stuff to appeal to more people. I understand though, because I never used to eat goat meat because of its gaminess, but I grew to appreciate it so much more as I got older. For that traditional local taste, I go to my local meat market. Most times, the butchers there can give you more information about where the animal is from, its quality, age, and gaminess, so I know exactly what I'm getting. This is usually the most expensive option for sourcing goat meat, but you get what you pay for. This is about 2.5 pounds of local goat meat. I saw these at the supermarket and loved how they look. Pre-cut, looking fresh and not too fatty. That's another benefit of local goats, they are usually on the leaner side. Fat is important for mouthfeel, tenderness and flavor, but we don't want too much. I remember so many greasy curries in my lifetime. For our curry today, we will be using the core aromatics of Jamaican cuisine. This dish, like a lot of other Jamaican dishes, is all about building and layering flavors. The first thing I will be doing is rinsing the goat meat in a light vinegar solution. This is optional but not for Jamaicans. This removes any debris and clean the meat. Don't overdo it though. Vinegar will start to break down and discolor it. At this stage, I inspect each piece of meat carefully for any bits of skin, extra fat, or anything the butcher might have missed that I don't want in my pot. I remember Christmas time when my folks were butchering goat. I would help remove the skin. I was really bad at skinning goat, so sometimes the fur would get caught on the meat. You really don't want that. Hair getting stuck to the meat, especially the fattier parts, is a headache to get off. Sometimes you will still find a bit of fur in your goat meat, so it helps to inspect it thoroughly. And now that our meat is cleaned up, let's marinate it. I'm starting with a bit of salt and freshly ground black pepper. 2 tablespoons of freshly ground allspice. Using a pepper mill for allspice has been a game changer for me. Can't believe I never thought of it before. Next up, I have about a tablespoon of ground cumin. A lot of other Caribbean countries call this jeera. Jamaicans do too, but it's mostly the OG Jamaican Indians in my experience. Time for some powdered season. I'm using a tablespoon each of complete season and Cajun. You can really mix things up here and add a wide range of powdered seasons. The dehydrated spices just add some sharper flavors. I'm using this duo because that's what I have in my kitchen. Now it's time for a star spice, curry powder. I'm using Jamaican curry powder, which is very turmeric forward. That way we get that vibrant golden color that Jamaican curry is known for. We could take it one step further and also add straight turmeric powder. That's a tablespoon and a half of curry powder and a tablespoon and a half of turmeric powder. Powdered seasons out of the way. So now let's grab our fresh seasons. 2 stalks of chopped scallion or green onion. A cup of sliced onions. This is half of a Scottish slice. That's going to add some early heat. That's 4 cloves of sliced garlic. And finally, we have about an inch of smashed ginger, and this serves one purpose. We add it to the curry so someone mistakes it for meat, save it to have last, and then bite into it for the biggest letdown. All jokes aside, ginger adds a lot of depth to the dish, but you're better served grating this for maximum flavor and minimum disappointment. And that's about it for the marinade. You might find variations among recipes, but the key to getting great Jamaican curry is mostly in the technique. We'll soon talk about that. For now, I'm going to properly mix this up. I like to use gloves because curry stains are no joke. If you don't want to use your hands, a spoon also works great. This smells really good. The scent of all the fresh seasonings and spices is deeply aromatic. That's very nostalgic. The only thing missing is the smoke from the wood fire we would have just started. That smell always brings back some melancholic memories from those times. You never forget where you were when you smelled it. It might be my great grandmother's grave digging, my cousin's funeral, or weddings and birthday parties I've been to. You don't think much about it while it's happening, but when you reflect, you realize how much of those big moments are tied to this dish. I'm going to move this to a smaller bowl so this can fit on the shelves in my fridge. I'm going to let it rest for a few hours. Marinating overnight is ideal, the longer the better, but we could do as little as 30 to 45 minutes with good results. Wow, look who decided to show up. Those are also curry goat, they just don't know it yet. This is done now, so let's wrap it up. We'll soon get to the delicious part. While that's doing its thing, let's talk about something else I have been working on. Merch is now available. All the designs here are done by hand. You can now grab your Dry Time is a Scam Premium t-shirt, Feed and Teach aprons, or a Time Lady hoodie. Links are in the description. That is it. Our curry goat should be ready now, so let's get back to it. With my pan on medium heat, I'm starting with a splash of oil. To that, I'm going to add a tablespoon of curry powder and let it bloom for about 30 seconds. This is called burning the curry, even though we don't actually want to burn anything. It just wakes up the flavors, makes them more fragrant, and takes that raw edge off the spices. We can now grab our marinated goat and add it to the pot. This is where technique comes in heavy, and we have a few options for building flavor. You always want to start with a saute. That might mean sauteing the aromatics, the goat meat, or both. Everyone does this a bit different, but whatever you do, you want to have a bit of dry heat cooking before we add any liquids. By caramelizing and browning, we lock in some deeper flavors, and that ensures that our finished curry doesn't just taste like boiled meat. Curry burns easily, so monitor it closely. Stir and adjust the heat level as needed. I'm going to cover and let this sweat for a bit before we add any liquid. Yup, that smells great. It's still raw, but that aroma is telling me to eat it right now. If this spot was outside, that scent will have the neighbors asking when the party has started. Those aromas are really coming through, and that's a sign that we can add our liquid. I'm going to completely cover the meat with water. Goat meat generally takes at least an hour or two to cook, so I'm going to first bring it to a boil and then reduce to a simmer. A hard boil does not cook the meat quicker than a simmer. All it does is speed up evaporation, so we will let it slowly do its thing. We're about 90 minutes in and that's reduced a lot, so let's see how the meat is doing. When you buy pre-cut meat, there's a chance that there's a lot of different cuts in the package that sometimes come from different goats. That means some pieces of meat will cook up very tender while others will be on the firmer side. It's usually not a big deal, but you want to test a few pieces and find a good average doneness. The meat is nicely cooked and far tender but still holds together well. Great. Now we can start to wrap this up. Add a cup of diced potatoes and a cup of diced carrot. Carrot and potatoes are staples in Jamaican stews and they give our curry a bit more body and stretch the dish. You don't want to stretch it too much though, or your guests will feel cheated. These take between 5 and 10 minutes to cook. If you want them to break down more, cook for longer. But for now, let them simmer before we move on. Ooh, that is coming together nicely. Let's give this a quick taste before we finish up. That has great flavor, but we are not done yet. Next, we are going to re-season the curry with some fresh aromatics, starting with fresh thyme, because dry thyme is a scam. That's about 2/3 cup sliced sweet pepper, a stalk of chopped scallion, a whole scotch bonnet for all the delicious scotchy flavor without the heat. This is already perfectly spicy for me, and one sliced onion. All those fresh aromatics are going to really lighten up the flavors and add back some freshness that faded with the long simmer. This really layers flavors, making the dish taste complete. Finally, adjust the final season. All this needs is a little bit of salt, but a bit more powdered season will also elevate this if you think it's lacking. No, I can't make curry goat without talking about white rum. I'm not using any in this recipe, but white rum carries more weight than just another ingredient. Slaughtering a goat has a lot of deep layered meaning in Jamaican culture, and it's a lot more than just food. Traditionally, a goat is killed for significant life events, funerals, celebrations, gatherings, and it's done communally. People come together to kill, clean, cut, season, and cook. Nothing is wasted. The meat becomes curry goat, the head, feet, and organs go into manish water. A life is taken to nourish the living, and respect and reverence is shown by using everything. So, what does that have to do with rum? Well, rum carries a lot of that same significance. White rum is poured in a casual but ceremonial way at funerals, wakes, nine nights, even just gatherings where people are remembering someone. You'll see a little get spilled on the ground. It's a gesture that acknowledges a presence beyond the physical. So when you put curry goat and rum together, the connection becomes clearer. The goat represents the physical act of giving, taking a life to feed the community. The rum represents the spiritual act of giving, offering something to those who came before, pouring a spirit for the spirits. But I think that's barely scratching the surface, so drop a comment below. Share some of your knowledge on this. For now, I'm going to let this simmer for a few minutes to infuse all those flavors and we should be set. And that is it. That's a proper pot of Jamaican curry goat. This looks delicious and smells incredible. I can't wait to dig into this. Don't want to bite into any ginger, so let's search for it and remove them. Curry goat goes really well with roti, but the most popular pairing is white rice. Cooking rice with a bit of butter and a few aromatics gives us a beautiful fragrant side that soaks up all of the richness and the depth of the curry. To complete my plate, I'm also adding some diced cucumbers and tomatoes. It's real simple, but these veggies are a great palate cleanser and they add some freshness to our meal. No, that is a proper Jamaican curry goat. The flavor is there, the texture is right, but it's more than that. Because curry was never just about taste. It's a signal. When a pot like this is cooking, you know people are coming together and you know something is happening. This dish always takes me back to a different time. It's both a celebration and a prayer. It feeds the people who are here and it honors the ones who came before. Yeah, that is what a proper curry goat is. I'm Nick and this has been delicious. Shout out to our patrons who keep the kitchen cooking. Thank you for watching. Bless up and I'll catch you in the next one.